Jennifer from Flux. In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet the Raspberry Mint Tassel Cowl. This is a fun and beautiful cowl that you can work up pretty quickly. And I am using the new Chic Sheep yarn, so check out my Yarn 101 for the yarn as well. This is a striped cowl that I've worked up in a fun and easy V-stitch. And then I've added an optional drawstring around the top, which I'm going to show you how to do all of that. And what you can do is sort of cinch up the top and then tie your cowl and then wear it sort of close up against your neck. Now again, this is optional. You can wear this as a regular cowl as well and leave off the last part. The finished cowl measures about 12 inches tall and has a circumference of about 32 inches. For this project, you'll need a 5.5mm eye crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, a ruler or tape measure is super helpful as you work up your project, and your yarn. I'm going to be using a brand new yarn called Chic Sheep by Marley Bird for Red Heart Yarn. Now I just did a Yarn 101 on this. This is a brand new yarn. It's a really fabulous yarn, so definitely check it out. I'll also put the video on the written pattern on the blog too, so you can watch that. I'm going to be using 2 balls of Vineyard, that's this kind of purpley color, and I'm going to be using 2 balls of Creme de Mint. Now if you do need to substitute yarn, look for a yarn that is a 4 or a medium on the yarn weight scale, and each ball of this is 186 yards. So just to give you an idea of the yardage and the weight that you'll need for that. So let's get started. Okay, so to begin, what we're going to do is put a slip knot on our hook. So wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop. Bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your hook, bring up a loop, and tighten. Next, we're going to do our starting chain. Our cowl is generously sized, so we're going to have a starting chain of 120. Okay, so to begin, we're just going to put a slip knot on our hook. So wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop. Bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your hook, bring up the loop, and tighten. Our cowl is generously sized because of it being a convertible cowl. So to give you the ability to pull it down over your shoulders or wear it very slouchy or kind of cinch it up at the top, we're going to make it very wide. So our starting chain will be 120. You can make yours a little narrower if you like, but this will give you a nice sized cowl. So what we're going to do, again, is chain 120. So to make a chain, wrap the yarn around the hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 117, 118, 119, and 120. Okay, now if you are opposed to creating a long starting chain like this, which I know some of you aren't into that, I do have a tutorial on how to do a foundation starting chain. Now we're going to be doing a V-stitch, but if you wanted to do like a foundation of single crochet and kind of build up on that, you can certainly do that as well. Okay, so let's move on to row 1. So let me just grab a little bit more yarn. So the first thing we're going to do is to create our big loop. That will be the bottom of our cowl. So go all the way down to the end here, making sure nothing is twisted. We're just going to go all the way to the end. Just make sure everything is nice and flat and that your chain does not twist. Sometimes you don't realize it until you're almost done the first round. Okay, so insert the hook into that chain farthest from the hook. Now wrap yarn around hook, bring it through that loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. Bring that loop through the loop that's already on your hook. And you know what? I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see everything a little bit better. Okay, so for round 1, what we're going to do, now that everything is joined up, and we can get this tail out of the way, we'll deal with that later. Sometimes you can weave these tails in as you go, but we're going to be doing something a little bit lacy looking, so we're just going to kind of leave it alone for now. So what we're going to do is get that tail out of the way, and we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then work a double crochet into the first chain. So see this first chain here? We're going to work a double crochet into that first chain. So I just wanted, before we do that, I just wanted to mention this chain 4 we just did counts as the first double crochet and a chain 1, and that'll make more sense as we start to make the V's in just a moment. So to make a double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert the hook into that first chain, bring up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on the hook. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops on your hook. So this is technically the first V of our round, and you can see we have our double crochet here. Those first 3 chains are the other double crochet, and then there's a chain in the center to make that opening, okay? Next, what we're going to do is skip 2 chains. So this chain and this chain, and in the chain after that we're going to work our first V. Now each V of this project will be a double crochet, just like that. If you need to see the double crochet, just back up the video a little bit if you want to see it slower. Then a chain 1, and then another double crochet all in that same chain, okay? So that's the first V of our round, okay? Then we're going to skip 2 chains, and in the chain after that, do the same thing. Double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. And we're just going to do this all the way around. Skip 2 chains, and in the chain after that, work a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Skip 2 chains, 1, 2, the chain after that, work another V. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, I'm going to get a touch more yarn so we can continue. And I cannot wait to see how this mint and this beautiful fuchsia color play out together in the V stitch. Skip the next 2 chains, work a V in the chain after that. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Skip 2 chains in the chain after that. Double crochet, chain, whoops, drop my hook there. Chain 1, double crochet. Skip 2 chains, 1, 2, in the chain after that, work another V. Again, we're just doing this all the way around. If you want to skip ahead, definitely feel free to do that if you want to just keep going. Skip 2 chains, in the chain after that, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Skip 2 chains, in the chain after that, work your next V. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and we'll get some more yarn. We're cruising through our yarn here, and this yarn is very soft. I love it. Okay, so skip 2 chains, in the chain after that, work a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and in the next chain, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, so we've done quite a bit of chains here and double crochets to create our V's. So I'm going to keep going around this cowl to build the bottom in the same sequence that we've been doing. And then once we get towards the end of this round, we're going to rejoin, and I'm going to show you how to finish up the round and begin round 2. So again, just to review, skip 2 chains, in the chain after that, work your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Again, that's skip 2 chains, the chain after that, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, I'm going to keep going with mine. Feel free to back up if you need to watch it slower or see some of the stitches in review. So we'll rejoin in just a moment, and then we'll move on to round 2. Okay, so I'm just working that very last V of the round by working a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And then to close the round, what we're going to do is, remember that chain 4 at the beginning of the round where it counted as a double crochet and a chain 1? You're going to count 3 chains up, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to join with a slip stitch. So insert the hook into that 3rd chain up, wrap yarn around hook, bring up a loop. Now bring that loop through the loop already on your hook, and then the round is complete. Okay? So what I like to do is just double check that nothing is twisted, because it is quite, large around. And now we're ready to move on to round 2. So for round 2, what we're going to do is chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now once again, this is going to count as a double crochet and a chain 1. So locate that first V, which is right here, that very first V you come to, and you're going to work a double crochet right into the space. So that chain 1 space that we have here, you're going to work your double crochet right into that chain 1 space. Now the combination of this starting chain we did plus that double crochet will create this V. It's kind of like a V imposter, because it's not an actual V like we made around everywhere else, but it still blends and looks the same and helps you get your round started. Okay, so to finish up round 2, what we're going to do is work a V into each V from the previous round. So locate the next V right here, and you're going to work it right into that chain 1 space. So right into the center of that V. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the center of that V. And see how they stack? They start stacking on top of one another. Now hop over to the next V and do the same thing. Double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Next V, double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. All right, I'm going to grab a little bit more yarn so my yarn ball will stop sneaking over. There we go. Okay, and we're just going to do this all the way around, working the V's into the V's from the previous round. So once you get that round 1 established with all the skipping and the counting and everything, the rest of the cowl is quite easy, and you'll be able to totally memorize the rest of this pattern in no time at all. So again, I'm just working my V's, which are double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the center of each V, and see how we're getting like a stacking effect. Now once we switch colors, the V's that you'll be working into, when you work one color into another color, it's very dramatic and makes an interesting pattern. So we're just going to keep doing this all the way around, and then I am going to work on this, and then we'll rejoin when we get to the end of round 2, and I'll show you how to finish up the round. Okay, so go ahead and work your V's all the way around, and we'll rejoin in just a moment. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the end of round 2, working that last V into the V from the previous round, and then we're back to our starting chain. So once again, count 1, 2, 3 chains up, insert your hook, bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. So close it with a slip stitch, and then round 2 is complete. So what we're going to do, this is what we have so far. Looks very pretty and lacy. What I'm going to do is work a couple more rounds in this purple, and then when I'm ready to switch to this mint color, I'm going to rejoin with you and show you how to go from color to color. Now there's lots of different ways to join yarn. I'm going to show you the way I like to do it best. So if you already know how to do that or you have a preferred method, just feel free and keep going. I think I'm going to do 4 rounds of purple and 4 rounds of mint and then alternate. So once I get to the spot where I'm going to join the mint, we'll rejoin and I'll show you how to switch yarn colors. Okay, so I worked 4 rounds of the pattern. I'm just putting that very last V in to close up the round. And once again, count 3 chains up, join with a slip stitch to close the round. Okay? So really, you can change colors whenever you like. I'm just going to do 4 rounds of each color before I switch. So I'm ready to add the mint color, and we're going to fasten off. Grab your scissors and you can just cut the yarn and fasten off. Now, like I mentioned before, if you have another way of joining new yarn or a new color that you prefer, definitely feel free to do that. So what we're going to do is we can slide this color out of the way and grab our mint yarn. And really for the V-stitch, when you switch colors, like this is where the magic happens. It looks so pretty when you go into the V's with a new color. So what we want to do is right where we fastened off, see where I put the knot, that stitch right there at the top, you're just going to insert your hook and bring the new yarn through. Okay, so just pull that right through. And then we're just going to tie it right on. Now we'll deal with these ends later. Whenever you have striped projects, you will have a little bit more ends than if you stuck with the same color. Okay, so let's get these little ends out of the way. And we're going to reinsert our hook back where we tied it on, bring up a loop, and now we're ready to begin our round again. So once again, we're going to be repeating round 2 over and over and over and over until our cowl is as tall as we would like it to be, changing colors and yarn as much as you'd like. You can even do 1 color per round if you like, but I'm gonna do 4 rounds because I'll not have to switch as often. So just to get started again, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in that first V that you come to, work your double crochet. So we're just repeating round 2 over and over and over until your cowl is as tall as you would like it to be, or until you run out of yarn, or both, whatever you prefer. Okay, so just work your V's into the V's from the previous round. Same thing we've been doing. If you need to review this, just back up the video a little bit and you can watch it as many times as you need to. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on going with my project, and we will rejoin when we get some more height on this cowl, and we'll move on to the next part of our tutorial. And as you can see, these V's look so cute up against this other color. So keep going and we'll rejoin in just a bit and move on to the next part. Okay, I'm just working that last stitch and I'm going to join with a slip stitch to close the round. Now as you can see, I've worked a lot more rows and I changed my colors. I did 4 rounds and then changed colors all the way up. So I was able to get 3 bands of the purpley color and 3 bands of the green. Now I do have some yarn left, but not quite enough to do a whole nother color repeat. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn and fasten off. Just like that. Now at this point, you can wear your cowl as is, or you can do the optional drawstring. So we're going to do that next, but first let's work on weaving in our ends. I'm going to show you how to do one of them. Now turn your cowl inside out. We have lots of ends because it's a striped project, but go ahead and just weave in your ends, thread your tapestry needle, and when you weave in ends on a striped project, you want to keep the same color in the same area. So just this mint green color, just weave it in one direction, just through the green stitches. You're just going to pull that through and then come back in the other direction with your needle, just to kind of lock that stitch into place. And then we're going to just trim. And then you'll repeat for the rest of the project. So let's turn our cowl right side out again. And now we're going to make the drawstring. Now again, you can make this an option. It's not necessary. All right, so I am going to use my purple yarn just because my last repeat I did was the mint color. So I think that that would be a nice contrast. Okay, so we're just going to make a simple chain. So go ahead and wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop. Reach in with your hook, bring up the loop and tighten. And then we're just going to make a chain, and we're going to make it large enough to go around the cowl and then sort of hang down the front, okay? So go ahead and create your chain. Now if you made your cowl a different size or you want your strings to be very, very long, you can totally customize it at this point. But we're going to go ahead and work our chain. Okay, so I'm just finishing up my chain here. Now mine is about 45 inches long, and that's exactly how I want it to hang. I kind of wrapped it around and did a test run on it before I cut the yarn. And then you can just fasten off with your chain. And we're just going to set this aside. We're not going to worry about weaving in the ends or anything like that yet. So go ahead and just set that aside. So as another option, you can also hang a tassel from your cowl. So I went ahead and made a tassel already, and I just have to make the other one. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Now this one needs to be trimmed up and things, but we're going to do that in just a moment. So to make a really easy tassel without any fancy tools, all you'll want to do is cut a piece of yarn about 6 to 8 inches, cut another piece of yarn about 6 to 8 inches, set those aside, and then we're going to wrap our yarn, okay? So now you can do these in the mint color if you like. I just really like this purple color. Okay, so let the yarn hang down the front of your hand. And now we don't want our tassel to be huge, so I'm going to just wrap mine 16 times around my hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, and then come and let it hang back down where the other one is and cut. So I have 2 tails at the bottom here. Next, you're going to grab one of the pieces of yarn you cut just a moment ago and just sort of lay that on the table like that. Grab your other piece of yarn and see how you have sort of a bundle around your hand? Send that through like that so it's at the top of your bundle, and then you can slide your hand carefully out and then go ahead and tie it at the top with a secure knot. Just once or twice is fine. Okay, then you're going to have like this little bundle of yarn here, and smooth everything out and then lay it on the table on that other piece of yarn that you cut before. Bring up the sides and you can tie it in a knot. Just like that. Okay, now I have 2 tassels. So let's neaten these up just a bit. Our other tassel, I just need to trim that along the bottom a little bit. And then our other tassel that we just made has a bunch of loops. So cut all the loops out of the bottom of your tassel. Make sure there's none left. And then get all the ends sort of straightened out. And you want to give it just a little haircut, just a clean cut across the bottom. Then we're going to grab our tapestry needle. And our cowl is now ready to assemble. Now again, you can just have a regular cowl. You don't have to do all this fancy stuff that I'm doing. So the first thing we want to do is thread our chain into our cowl. So once again, grab that tapestry needle and thread it with the chain that you made. Now you don't have to go all the way up to, I just used the tail and I just kind of went up against the knot. That's totally fine. Okay. The next thing we want to do is we're going to thread it through the top edge of our cowl. So just kind of turn it around. Now you can use this edge or this edge. It's totally fine. I want my V's to be facing upward, so that's why I'm going to do this. Okay, so we're going to start from the front. That's where we're going to tie it. So go into one of those V's. You can go one down, one up, or one up along that edge. And then just pull it almost all the way through, but not quite. This will be our first little tie, okay? And then we're just going to weave in and out. I'm going to do every other V. Actually, I'm going to do every V because they are nice and evenly spaced out. So just go all the way around your cowl, weaving in and out. Now I went one row down, excuse me, just to give myself a little bit of an edge here, okay? So we can just rotate it and go thread it into the back area. And I am just doing this quickly. This step doesn't really take too long. We're just going in and out all of the little V stitches all the way around our cowl. Okay. We go around, and now we're coming up to the other side of our cowl. This was the back. Okay, and then we can rotate it again and just go in and out all of those V's of this side as well. In and out, all the way around. Okay, and now we're back where we started. And we have some nice ties here. You don't want them to be super long, unless that's the look you're after. If you want them to sort of hang down long, that's okay too. But I wanted mine to kind of hit where the cowl still was. So see how they're just sort of, and then you can straighten them out. They don't have to be the same length. That gives a little bit of interest if you have them sort of stair-stepped. But I want to just straighten mine out a little bit. Okay. So we have our ties. Let's grab our tassels, because what we're going to do is use our tail here. Thread that with your tapestry needle. Now come in, see how you have two ties up here? We're going to weave those in just a second. But come in through the top, right up under that knot where you tied the first one. Just right up under that knot, and bring the tail through. And then you can tie it onto any of these other ends with a nice strong knot. All right, now the easy way to sort of weave in your ends with a tassel is to go in through the middle with your tail. And you're going to repeat this for all of your other tails. Okay, now see these other two tails? You can even do them two at a time if you want to. Go in through the middle of your tassel and see how your needle comes out at the bottom, and pull it through. Okay, straighten everything out, and then take your scissors and you're going to give those a nice clean cut. Get it all the same length. And then we have one tassel complete. Let's repeat for our other tassel as well. Thread your tail from your tie, and then just come up right under that knot. Make sure you can give it a little test tug just to make sure it's up under that knot, because that's what's going to hold it on there. Now you can take your other tail, any one you want, and just give it a nice firm knot on the top to get it all into place. And then we're going to take all of our ends and go ahead and weave them into the center of your tassel. So just right down the middle like that. Okay, and give things a tug to get them nice and straightened out. Again, if you want to do two at a time, you're just going right through the middle of that tassel. And make sure you're going in under that band that you made. Okay, so, whoops, this guy didn't make it through. Let's try that again. We're just going to go right down the center of our tassel and pull it through. Okay, so get everything nice and straight. You can grab your scissors. And our cowl is complete. Now we still have a few little ends here to deal with. I'm going to deal with those later. But our cowl is complete. It looks really, really cute. And when you wear it, you can just wear it sort of like this, or you can cinch it up and go ahead and tie a little bow, and it keeps your neck nice and warm, and it looks very, very festive. So that is how you crochet the Raspberry Mint Tassel Cowl. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again.